What is good, Horror Horde? This is your boy Horror Gamer, back with another video for you. And in tonight's video, we have another episode of Creepypasta Theater. And on tonight's episode of Creepypasta Theater, we're going to be exploring a truly terrifying and unsettling creepypasta. A creepypasta known as The Attic. Nicholas lay in his bed, not able to go to sleep. The summer air wasn't exactly helping him in any way. As he finally felt himself drifting off, he bolted upright as the sound of boxes falling over resonated from the attic. He cautiously crept over to the attic door and attempted to open it. Surprisingly, the door wouldn't open, no matter how hard he tried. In the end, Nicholas gave up and went back to bed. Nothing else strange happened for the rest of the night. The next day, Nicholas woke up with a start to the sound of glass shattering. He looked around his room for something he could defend himself with that wasn't downstairs. The only thing he had was a ukulele, which wasn't nearly big enough or sturdy enough to combat something like a knife or a gun. But it was the only thing he had. Slowly, he crept downstairs, making sure he didn't make any noise at all. As he got ready to swing, he crept into the living room to find the back door completely smashed, along with a couple of wine glasses from the day before. He began to clean up the shards of glass before calling the police and then a repair company. Nicholas was told by a police officer to stay in a hotel until further notice, which he did. After a couple of days, he received confirmation that his house was fully fixed and that the police had installed an intruder alarm. When he got back to his house, it was almost midnight. He thanked the police officer and made absolutely sure that he had something to protect himself with, opting for a pistol. He went into his room, placed the pistol on the bedside table, locked his door, and collapsed onto his bed. It didn't take long for the sound of boxes falling in the attic to reach his ears again. He knew better than just ignore it, so he grabbed his pistol, unlocked his door, and crept over to the attic hatch. He yanked on the hatch as hard as he could, but it didn't budge. No sound came from it, so he decided to call the police to check the attic for him. As he settled back down, he shivered as the familiar click of the attic hatch sounded, and a loud thud came from his door. He grabbed his pistol hastily and aimed it where the chest of a human would have been. The doorknob began to switch, as if something were trying to get in. Soon after, he heard a loud banging on his door. Without hesitation, he released 3 bullets to the door and whatever was out there. After a good minute, he cautiously unlocked the door, still ready to shoot. What he saw, he could not forget. Lying there lifeless was an incredibly grotesque humanoid creature that looked terribly starved. Its canines were usually large, and its eyes were a deep crimson. Its blood began to seep out from underneath it where it had been shot. Nicholas rushed downstairs as he heard the relieving sound of sirens. Nicholas came rushing out of the house, trying to form the words to tell them what had happened. As a small group of officers entered the house and went upstairs, most of them came rushing back out with the same terrified expression Nicholas was wearing. The few that stayed in the house told the chief constable exactly what was up there. He didn't want to believe it, but with everyone telling him the same gruesome story of what was up there, he really had no logical reason not to. He told Nicholas that he'd better stay with a friend or in a hotel until he received confirmation that the house was completely cleaned and checked. Nicholas checked into the same hotel he stayed in before, and after roughly a month, he received confirmation from the police that his house was safe. It was about midnight when he got back, and when he did, the first thing he did was collapse onto his bed. Nicholas could finally get some sleep now that the whole ordeal was over. As he began to drift off, he bolted upright as he heard the all too familiar sound of boxes falling over in the attic. This thought was quickly followed by a horrific realization that he'd left his pistol and phone downstairs. A chill ran down his spine as the click of the attic hatch opening resonated through the corridor. Well, horror horde, if you ever find yourself late at night in your bed and you hear the sounds of boxes being pushed over or the pitter-patter of feet in your attic, make sure you have something to defend yourself or call the police, because you never know what truly terrifying ordeal awaits behind that attic door. And with all that being said, horror horde, this is your boy Horror Gamer saying until next time, don't fear the darkness, embrace it.